it was going to be a big game because we had so many wish lists, because the community was vibrant and very much participating in the development, giving us advice and hoping for more content month after month. When we launched the game, before launching the game, because we knew it was going to be big, we did a lot of beta testing, a lot of play tests with hundreds of thousands of people.
就说他们之前
despite that, when we launched, there were
搞了好几次这个测试
working as expected. Now,
人家就是说些
when you
空话，
launch a
没
game
什么
of
实
this
际的内容。
size, especially with a multiplayer component, you expect that the community will be an important part of the growth of the game, and we wanted to make sure that the community was always heard. But because, of course, you know,
还说些场面话，
many
一
things
点
that
屁用没有。
didn't work at launch or were supposed to be fixed, we had to sort of take a moment, and the team had to take a moment, the development team had to take a moment and work on some things, and some of the things that weren't working needed a long time to be fixed. Hence some silence, hence some things that were released and weren't working as expected, because we wanted to deliver stuff, but we didn't have enough time to test
这全是场面话，一点营养没
Things
有。
take
不用
time,
管
and unfortunately, some things didn't work as expected.
Something didn't work as
Still
expected.
Balalaika,
What is
when we
expecting
launched,
anyway?
was a small team. And this was also the first time that Slytherin launched such a big multiplayer game. So there were a lot of unknowns for us, both from a development
就说
perspective
这是实习社第一次搞这么大、这么火的
Now,
这种多人
the team at
PVP 游戏，
Balalaika has
所以他们需要一些
more than
时间
doubled in
来
size.
调整
We
和
have
积
learned
累
a
经
lot
验。
as a publisher. We have grown as well in size in terms of people who are able to follow your needs and questions and need and
我给各位提个建议啊，
things you were
在说
asking
话
for
的
as
时候
well.
不要频繁，
And
如果
we
你不知道
hope that,
下一句要说什么，
this is
不要
sort of
发出
gonna be a good fresh start
这种声音，
for
会显得你很
for
傻
the
逼。
game. We're going to look into what is coming up next.
你看，
what
就像这个
you
哥们儿
guys
一样，
are
他一直
expecting, questions coming from the community, things
你看
that
他每
still
一下，
don't
我
work
这
and
让我
needs
感觉他
fixing,
更不专业。
and things that you wish were there but are not priorities, we still want to work on. We also are going to talk a little bit about how we would like to renew this partnership between us and the community, with the idea of always being respectful and making
不是
sure that
我
we
操，
work
这哥们儿
together
他妈一
to
直
make this game grow.
不要说场面话。
We are putting the hours in work, you're putting the hours in playing,
有点
and
像是在我
only
英语
through
课
this
上面的同
synergy
事。
we can make a game that grows over time. So before we jump into the future of the game, I want to thank you all for
就在这里谢谢玩家
commenting,
了，
giving advice, asking questions.
感谢玩家对他
and,
提出的对他们提出的问题
participating
和
in
这
the
个
growth
反
of this
馈。
game. And
感谢玩家
because
参与
you're
这个
such a
游
big
戏。
part of the community of the growth of the game, we want to make sure that this is not only a moment, but this is a recurring chat we have with the community. So we're going
这
to
哥
do
们儿
more
真
of
的
this,
硬讲呀！我操！
when in the next month, hopefully with much more frequency.
他应该是有个稿子
Also,
在
yes,
放
so
在
I
这个
think
桌子
that,
上。
you know, from here we can only talk about the future, and hopefully you guys are gonna come away with refreshed
好在整个提示
hope
器啊，对
and we
Bro.
want to grow a great game for the future. Let's jump into this now.
感谢，终于开始 jump into this now。
哎，finally。
All right, so here with me today I have Felix from Steel Balalaika and Alberto from Slytherin. Felix, you're the main designer on the game, right? And
Yes, I'm
Okay.
creative director at
中间这
Silver
个
creative
中
director.
中间这个
and,
有那个有
with,
胡子的这个
Steven
笔
Mann
就是
has been
Felix
following,
FLX
with, Steel Balalaika
首
on the game
席
since
游戏
the
设计
very
师。
beginning.
右边这个是 Alberto， 是
So,
蜥蜴社的人。
where do we want to start? I guess that we have a sort of a visual representation of what we're working on, right?
Yeah,
So,
the actual roadmap itself. So I believe that that's where we
OK，
should start
我们来看一下
Alright,
2025年
so,
major feature。
Okay, we have 3 green little
正在
spots
完成的是
stuff
那
in there,
个AI 机器人。
which
2026
is
年
basically what we have
这
delivered
个
so
又
far
美军
as,
专
in
精
terms of major
俄军专
feature
精。
updates. And I'll let you go through these, Alberto.
Yeah. So as you can see, we
哦
are
第一个是那个
listing
美军盟友专精，
what items we
然后
already
第二个是
worked on,
俄军专
because this
精
is，supposed
第
to
三
be
个
a
是
live
美军
document.
专精加
In the
俄
sense
军的
that we
单
will
位
be，updating this
等于说现在
as we
会
go
有
through
额外
next
2
year
个
and the next and the one
美
after
军
it.
的专精，等于说美
I
军
will
未
be
来会有
constantly
2026
adding
年会有
new
7个
content
专精，
and
俄有
also
16个
representing
专精，
what we've already done for the game.
然后
In
可以
this
保
case,
存本
since
地游戏，
June, we've been adding
网络优化，
penalties for leavers for
来自
people
动
who
更换
quit
服务器
multiplayer matches. A surrender vote
Replay 有回放
option,
的，
which was a highly requested
有回放的，
tool from the community.
然
And
后
of
更多
course,
的多
the
人地图，
integration of easy
游
anti-cheat
荡弹
for
药，
better and
FPA 无人
improved
机那种游荡弹
cheater
药，
detection policy.
合作
for the
战
game.
役，观察者模式。
So this is what we've been working on so far.
2027
since we
年
want to
初
add
会
anything
有
to
一
this.
个新的阵营，
Well, I guess I can talk about the next step.
新的
The,
这个新的阵营
AI
有
bots
战
that
役，
we are
然后
going
有它
to
自己的
add
卡
to
组
the，game
有
very
额外
shortly
的
before
这个
the end
生
of the
态
year, so
和
in a few weeks
和战
maximum.
区吧。你可以说 War Theater 的话，它应该算是一个
So
主题，
this is
还有一大堆
one
各种
of
乱七
the
八糟
most,
的
if not the most
这个新地图。
requested feature for the
然后
game
27年
that
初
was missing
出
at
这个
launch
俄
is
军
the
盟友
ability
专精，
to play in
它
fact
这个 Allied
alone
Spec，
with up to 4 AI bots.
这个
the
Allied
AI
Spec
bots
这个概
in
念
your
就很有
team
意思。
and 5 enemy AI bots in the opposing team. So this ability to play skirmish alone at the full scale of the
就是
game
如果
will
我们
be
来看
added
这个
very
图
soon.
的话，看到第一个图，它
This
这
will
里
be
是
part
布莱
of
德
the
利，第
Allied
二个图
command
是
update, and we'll be releasing
龙卷
in
风
a，few
但它
weeks
也可能指的
next
是
week,
卡纳，就是
definitely
我
before
们大家
Christmas.
都知道的俄罗
But
斯防卫
shall we
专
move
辑。
on to next year, which will
第
be
三
a
个，
big year
这个
for
是
Broken
入侵
Arrow.
者战机。
So
A6
as you can see, we have divided the major items from planned quality of life improvements as well as DLCs. So I just want to clarify how
你看，
to
你看
read
这
this
里
roadmap
Faction
a bit.
DLC，这个背景是我们的狗
Let's
狗
start
朋友
with the
们，
major
这个
features.
是我们的狗狗还是
So,
狗肉来着？
as you
这
can
个
see,
图，
there are
这
some
个图
features
我之
that
后会
we've
给大家
been
PO 出
working
来
on
的。
already. The
27
ones
年
that
初
we'll
会
be
有
working
老钟
on
啊，那
are
个
the
已经是
ones
明
with
示了。
the
你看它的
small
背
yellow
景是
icon to your
99
left.
还是96来着？
In this case,
我觉得他们这个
save
模型
games
做的比较
from the
糙，是
single
个
player
早期
start
概念
campaign.
图了。
That's a highly requested feature, and it took a bit of time in order to get there. Do you want to elaborate a bit on it?
这个是老钟，就27年初
Yeah,
，20年
generally
初
it's,
出老钟，但是他妈也太
adding this feature will take time. But
这个
it's
太
a
久远
fundamental
了。
one. We acknowledge it without problem. It just requires some fundamental rework of some elements of how the scripts are made, how the state of the game
它这
exists
个产能有点小点
in memory and everything. So
不是很
we're
理
working
想。
on it. It will take time, but it has a lot of value. So we already started that several months ago, but it will still take more months to come.
Speaking of timing, just a clarification. We opted not to give a specific order for the items in this roadmap, in the sense that the order you see is just for visibility. We want to reserve ourselves essentially the freedom to be able to shuffle things around depending on what works best from a development point of view. So
我也在担心
don't
它能不能
expect
活到
those
27
things
年。
to come in
就
that
你看，它
specific
现在
order.
是26年
In
3
fact,
个
some of
主
those
要更
things
新。
will be coming sooner rather than later.
26年
So
3 个
the
主要
first
更
one
新。
was save games.
也就是说，
then we
计
have a
划
lot
好
of
的话，那
work
就
behind
是
the scenes in order to
它是那个
prepare
你看
the
3个
source
更新吧
code，
那就是4
for
个月更一
future,
次。
future mechanics, such as for instance replays. Do you want to maybe explain a bit what this is?
就理想情况下来说，我们1月份会
the
迎来美军的新
rework
专
of the
辑，
network
最坏的情
system
况那就是他妈
is
4月份迎来
required
新
to
专辑，
obtain a replay.
是吧？因为它按照这个来说4个月嘛，对吧？
It's a
我4月份一个
fundamental
专辑，8月份一个
problem
专辑，12月一个专辑。
of a fight between optimization
靠，你们刚刚又
and
嫌他妈的视频声音小，
accuracy
现在
of
又
the
嫌
information
我
over
真
the
妈
network.
我不知道该说什么。
If
这样的
everything has to pass on the server and needs to be verified by the server. This is inefficient and you get a lot of lag. If everything is made on the client side, you have the
主要是这个
possibility for a
Russian
lot of
allies
cheats.
back。我说实话，他这个专精100%不可能是乌克兰，但是他又是 Russian allies back， 然后他背景是个 T72，这个概念图之前没有见过。
So basically,
有可能是白罗斯吧。
we are moving more elements on the server side to reduce the possibility of cheating, to allow the possibility for replay. Basically, the server would be recording absolutely everything happening in the match.
美军盟友专精，我估计
deliver a
是加拿
replay
大。
file at the end that would be shared with the clients or the players. So these 3 points, they are highly intricated together, and again, we've put them first because they are the most important, but they are also some of the most difficult, so something that will take time to arrive.
Awesome. Moving on to the second column, we have new multiplayer maps variants.
他的这个 USA allies back， 那我估计可能就加拿大了。
But I wanted to ask you about loitering ammunition.
但也不一定。
What is it?
OK， 他们现在在谈有的
it's a
榴弹
type
弹
of
药。
ammunition existing. It's drones, basically, like what you
榴弹弹药现在
more
在谈的
commonly
就
called
是
drones.
很多
It's
人一直想
loitering
要的
ammunition.
自
It's a
杀式无
missile
人机。
basically that can stay on a zone for some time and select its target either automatically or through an operator or something like that. So in the game at the moment we have cruise missiles, which you target a position on the map and the missile go there and crash on the ground there with an explosion. We have many different types of missile, but we don't have this loitering ammunition, which basically you
我看 FedEx 这个
fire
意思是
them
他
in
们
a
要把
direction
榴
and
弹
then
弹
they
药
will
做
search for
成
targets
类似
in this area.
怎么说呢？
So
他们要把榴弹弹药
quite an
做成
exciting
类似巡航导
mechanics,
弹的效果。
very modern,
只是巡航
quite
导，
complex
只是
to
这种榴弹弹
code
药是可以
because
控制的巡航导
it's
弹
quite。complex in reality. Basically, all the
就是你可以一直
drones
你可以一直
are
框这个
loitering
巡航导弹，
ammunition.
然后让它在天上一直转圈圈。
And the other two major features that we have planned for next year are super requested by the community. We're talking of co-op campaign and spectator mode. Once again, I don't think that we really need to explain what
对，
these
新
things
专
are
精明
because
年
the
初，
community pretty much knows what they are, and they have
12
been
月
asking a
份
lot
他
for it.
们
I just
准备
wanted to
把
mention
AI
that
队友
spectator
做
mode
完。
something that we
但是
really
我说
want
实
for
话，
the
他
game.
们这个效率实
Also
在是
because
太……
we think that the game deserves a spectator mode in order to
第一个
really
阵营
make the multiplayer
DLC
community
是
flourish.
老钟啊，
We want to give a special attention and put a special focus on multiplayer in 2026. Most importantly, we would like to start a season system for the game and official tournament support for the game. This
他
will
们
be
想
also
办
be
官方
supported
比赛，我靠！
by a new website to showcase this competitive environment that we
不
that
是
we
你，
hope
哎，
will
我真
flourish
晕了，他们想
throughout
做他
next
妈
year.
官方锦标赛，哥们
But
儿，
I
愿
believe
意
that
搞
a lot of
PVP 内卷的总
people
归是
are
少
wondering
数。
about what those three big specializations
整他妈
mentioned
这
at
些
the top
比
of
赛
the
啥的一
roadmap
点
are.
屁用没有，这顶分
So,
就只占很小
well,
部分
we
人的。
don't want to give too many spoilers, right? But yeah, we have 3 specialization DLCs coming next year.
他们有观战，因为他们要做
As
第
you
四
can
个，
see,
就这里
the first
那个
one
spectator
will be
mode 观察
an
者，
allied spec for the United States.
他们有
So
这
it
个观
won't
察
be
者选项
American,。but it will be
对啊，人都没了，你还比什么赛？这妈这 B 游戏日活已经快掉下，
allied to the United States.
这游戏这 B 游戏的日活还不如丝瓜多。
You know,
现在
just
要私
as
求个屁的
a
了。
bit of a spoiler, I guess, we want to reveal that this DLC will be free. So we'll be releasing the first DLC as a free content, and
第
we'll
一
be
个美
unveiling
军
this
的
content
专
as
精
literally next on
就是
December
这个
9. So
26
mark
年
it-
出的第一个
mark
专
it
精是
on
免
your
费的，
calendars.
免费更新的。
The second specialization DLC will be a Russian specialization, whereas the third one will be once again an American specialization, but it will also add new Russian units. But this will also bring something new to the table. Do you want to maybe expand a bit on it?
Yeah, generally. So, first and second DLC are expanding the existing factions in a rather classic way. So the third DLC will introduce a new battlefield, a new biome for the game. Expect some water in it. Like there are little spoilers in the background pictures if you look closely. So yeah, we will introduce new theater of battle with this DLC. That will certainly be interesting to fight on.
Awesome. Moving on to what will come
OK， 然后我总结一下，他们的意思就是第一和第二个 DLC 更新都会是专精，就是做加法的更新。但是第三个更新，就是26年的第三个更新，会是给这个游戏增加一些新的环境的更新。那么按照他们的这个说法，第三个更新很有可能就是以海岛为基准，或者说以这种就是滩涂或者岛群为这个题材的战斗，因为他提到说会有很多水，那有很多水的话100%这不可能是纯滩涂，所以他就很有可能是那种就是有很强调两栖作战的环境。但我说实话，他这个应该比较难搞，我不知道他们怎么设计这个地图。有可能是要搞海岛骑兵啊，因为他们说第三个更新要引入新的这个战场环境。
Am I allowed?
No, okay, no, let's not. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what people will be speculating about.
Well, just to clarify, well, factions are independent element of the multiplayer, fighting against each other, while the specializations are sub-part of the faction. So we'll have these brand new factions, including in itself multiple specializations. The final number is not yet defined, but expect something similar to what we had for USA and Russia. So
这个专精数量会和美俄的专精数量差不多。
Let's spend a couple of minutes to explain the bottom of the roadmap. So people will see that planned quality of life improvements list. What are these, Felix? What can you tell about this?
They are, well, we have separated them because they are stuff being done in parallel to the big major features that we are doing. We know that the major features are the most important, but since they are also the longest to create, we have planned a long list that we have even more stuff than this planned to improve the game in between. These are smaller elements that will be done in parallel so that you have something more regular, more novelty, more regularly than waiting several months every time for a new big features. So as you can see, some of them have already been started. Some will start soon.
第一个他们在做的是，
we didn't really
说他们要更新这个胜利界面，我不知道他们要搞这个有什么用。
We're also waiting for the feedback of the community to know which one they consider are the most important. And as usual, we begin the work with what is perceived as the most important by the community. So that's how we proceed. That's why also we don't want to impose an agenda for this stuff.
就比如说这个，第一个和第二个很他妈抽象。第一个叫做更新这个胜利界面，第二个叫让玩家能够在胜利界面投诉其他玩家，或者说报告其他玩家。我说刷这东西不是早该有了吗？你还要这么列出来 ？Really?
Give us your opinion. So this is the roadmap. Shall we maybe move on to the questions?
Yeah, I mean we received a lot of questions before the live stream. We have asked for community to, and I'm reading the chat in the meantime, by the way. So let us know in there as well if there's something very specific about it. There's about 300 questions we received over the last few days from all the different communities. Both on Discord and other channels, and also from our official QQ channel in China. So there's quite a lot of stuff. Shall I go ahead and do something for you, Felix, first? Got one from Rigor Mortis, who's posted quite a number of questions there. which I will sort of read, but also add something on top. So he's asking, is the game we see today closer to the foundation of something bigger or closer to the finished vision? And I will add, what was the intention when you released the game to sort of, stop it there, just release it and then finish it out there, or expand it over time?
Well, generally there is never an end. It's an always ongoing process of improving the game. So for the release, we released the game at a moment where basically we hesitated on where do we go next. We needed an answer to know, okay, are people going to prefer the multiplayer, the solo, the skirmish? What should we put our next priorities on? And we released the game at that moment. So now that we get this kind of information, we get the feedback from the community, we can progress in a direction that we know is going to be efficient, that we know is going to please people, and that we are not going to waste our efforts in something that doesn't matter for people. So it's an ongoing process. The final vision of the game is to have more factions. We don't want to limit the game to USA and Russia, and as you've seen, we have already planned the next faction. After this third faction, we'll see probably new specializations, new factions again, new biomes. There are really a lot of possibilities, but all that takes an extremely long time. If we want to make all the armies in the world, it's going to take years and years. So we listen to what the community has to say, and we adapt our plans based on that to provide what is considered the most important.
There is a question from LD also, picking up on something that is recurring in the chat as well, which is the idea that the fact that the player count dropped quite significantly since launched, about 84% in 5 months. Do you think this is bad? Is there a recovery plan, or is there a recovery plan needed? What's your view on this declining number of players?
Well, first, it's always normal that there is a decline after the launch. Like every game, except very few exceptions, game, generally you have a decline of players because not everybody is playing the same game for hundreds of hours. Some people they prefer the solo content. They play it, and after that, they wait for more content and are not really interested in playing the skirmish or the multiplayer. But in the middle of that, there are also the shortcoming of the skirmish that we are addressing soon. We have seen with the release of the game that the amount of people who were interested in playing the skirmish alone.
很多玩家他们意识到了很多玩家喜欢一个人打遭遇战，而不是和组队。
So basically, all the stuff that you can see in the roadmap, they are all acknowledgement of the problems or the missing stuff that the game has, and that we want to add to it.
Yeah, I should reinforce that, we've been, and Marco's saying 90% decrease. Now, I should reinforce that, which is very relevant. And I mean, we've been doing, games for a long time now, about more than 25 years now. And I think that this concept of player decline, meaning that the game is dying, is a sort of misconception that it's kind of frequent in general. It happens for all major games, even for million sellers. You probably look at, your Manor Lords or your Europa Universalis. And it's always happening, right? You have this decline, and then you stabilize over a number, and then you build on these numbers to sort of keep the retention going and so on. So it's a general sort of misconception that declining number of players means the game is
就是这个游戏如果现在有这么多玩家，那这些玩家就是基本盘，所以他们就按照现在的基本盘往下做加法，慢慢的把玩家人数再提上去就行。
On a game, of course, because if the sentiment is negative, it's very hard to do.
不提还能这么晚尊的呀？
In general, I would say that we didn't see we don't see the declining customers and players as a negative per se.
他们不觉得玩家下滑是一个坏事。
The updates that the community is expecting to keep them happy and on our side instead of being sort of just a pot of negativity that pollutes the game's future. That's basically my view as well. One thing. What is it? Still from LD, what lessons did you learn from launch? And did you learn something on your
你们有没有从这个游戏发售的这个和开发的时候的这些过程当中学到什么教训
As I said earlier, we discovered players' preferences in a sense.
我们发掘了玩家的游戏喜好。
Like in the game compared to others, I've been working on other games in the past, and each of them is a bit different, and it's really hard to predict. In the case of Broken Arrow, for instance, the multiplayer community has been really large in proportions. We had more than 50% of the players who played several hours of multiplayer, when in other games sometimes it's, say, 10%, something like that. So what we learned first was a bit through the statistics that we could read was who are our customers, because who are players. We can read the comments, but the people who comments are not necessarily representative in quantity to the people who play and buy the game. So the first lesson was this, like, okay, who is interested in this game, who is doing what. So sadly, our measurements at the release were not the best. We don't have super precise information. Now we have a better vision. That's part of the silent work that happened after the release of the game, like trying to analyze what's happening. And for us, well, it's not really something new, but after the release, the pace of the work has to be increased, because during the development, the silent development, there is a milestone from time to time as for a beta test. But in between, it's pretty calm in the sense that we don't have to answer to the immediate needs and expectations of people from day to day. After the release, this is over. Like, people are here, people are expecting stuff now, fast and better. And so this is a difficulty. We knew it was coming. That's what we increased the size of the team. But to increase the size of the team, we also needed to know how popular the game would be, because you cannot multiply your team size by 2 or 3 and if the game is not successful. So yes, it's all this stuff, like waiting for information, reacting to them. That's what we did.
It's interesting, because what you're saying is super interesting. I find it because you see that people are saying, some people are saying the game is dying or is decreasing.
玩家说这个游戏要死了，
But on the other hand,
是一个很搞笑的事。
the community is saying, well, more content, more this, more this. So it is like investing in a game means that the game you're expecting the game to grow, not die. So it's an interesting,
他们觉得这个平衡很有意思。
Love-hate relationship.
Well, one question I would like to ask, this is sparking from a question from XDMC here, sort of expanding on it, is balancing between features, which is stuff that, or like fixes, that are stuff that is not seen or like not perceived as true value sometimes, as opposed to content. Because I see in the chat a lot of people saying, oh, we want more content, right? But on the other hand, you want more, there's other people want more features, more and more quality of life stuff. So how do you prioritize, and how do you work with the team? Because of course the team is now large enough that you have
西社如何？因为 STB 怎么样平衡说做新机制和新内容？
Well, for the release, we didn't. But after the release, like we we basically having a bigger team allows to make more things at the same time, which allows basically for us to work on long-term things. What we've done after the release is we try to focus on the most important things. But the most important things take time to come, and as a result, people had the impression that the team had disappeared, that we were gone on an island drinking Cuba Libre or whatever. And except we were in fact hard at work, harder than ever after the release, and that's why we didn't have much time to communicate, to celebrate, to do stuff. Like we had problems to fix. But what we have learned is that, yeah, if you only focus on the most important stuff, you're creating an emptiness, and this emptiness is impacting the confidence that people have in the team that we are working on. So now what we do is we are alternating, as you've seen on the roadmap, between the big stuff that will take months and smaller stuff to show we're here, show we're alive, and give an everyday, not every day, but like a regular improvement to the game, so that you don't have to wait in despair for the long-term stuff to arrive.
Coming from QQ Group,
说了跟没说呀，他的意思就是说他们会发布一些小的热更新，去对游戏内容进行平衡和修复，以避免玩家为了等一个大更新等太长时间。这不是，这难道需要学吗？
We work on that. Like we have, recently we have integrated the easy anti-cheat. One part of easy anti-cheat is detection of cheaters. And
近期他们加入了 EAC 小篮球版作弊系统。
we have managed to fix in the recent patch.
虽然有 bug， 但是近期修复了。
The automatic detection is one part of the fight against cheaters. And the second is the manual reporting, and this one we want to improve it by allowing players to report potential cheaters at the end of the match, after the match is over. Because right now it must be done only during the match. And generally during the match, people are focusing on the match and they don't think about it. The match is over, and this is the moment where they breathe and they want to report the person, but it's too late. The interface is not here, so we will expand this to allow people to report at the moment where they are ready to report. Also, we are introducing end match history, we call it, or end match. I don't exactly know.
他们会加一个对局历史功能，这样玩家可以去查看之前打过的
match history in the roadmap. What it is, it's the statistics of the map in the interface of the game after the match is over. So if you have a doubt that someone is cheating, this can allow to check, okay, what's the economy of this player? Is it normal that he had so many units? And this is the moment where you can see that, okay, maybe he had so many units, but they were very cheap, so that's why you were seeing so many. And so it can help to detect more efficiently real cheaters from people thinking that there is a cheater, but in fact there is not. Because that's the main difficulty for us. It's we have a lot of reports and we take quite a lot of time. We have a dedicated team for that to review the report and make sure that we ban cheaters and we don't ban innocent players. It happened once. We apologize again for that. So there were some people that were wrongly banned because the checking was not made consensuously.
然后他现在又道歉说，我们确实不小心办错了一些玩家。
Consciously,
yeah. 他们是无意识的办，他们是无意识的办的，不是主观意向去办的。
Our objective is zero person banned wrongfully.
Yeah.
By the way, the option to report players on victory screen should arrive pretty soon, right?
Yeah, it's already we have already worked on it. I don't know, maybe next patch. I don't know exactly. I don't have the time.
It's not too far then.
Yeah, hopefully before the end of the year.
A question
Probably.
from both the QQ group and the chat, and elaborating on it very interestingly. This is like a salty breakfast or sweet breakfast. It's like, you know, these factions there as well. 1v1, 1v1, 3v3, 5v5. Everyone has a favorite one. You know, can you elaborate a bit on, you know, where we are with the different modes and what's your view, what the team view is on that specifically?
不同的对局模式，1v1、3v3、5v5。
Our main
要不要
objective,
做？
well, when it comes to match, it's a problem of matchmaking mostly. We want to offer an efficient matchmaking to the player, which means finding a match rapidly and finding a balanced match. And if the problem is that to reach this objective, if we break the community between multiple incompatible modes, each game mode will have a lower pool of players to pick the
目前
teams
不打
from.
算把游戏
And
做
as a
成那
result,
个就是
this
竞
will
技和排位和
reduce our
非
objective
排
to
位
get
模
a
式
match。fast and
这样的话会降低
So,
玩家匹配的速度，
we are thinking about the possibility
所以不会出现休闲和排位模式的
create
区
an
分。
alternative team size. 3v3 is the one that is the best candidate.
3v3 是一个可用的小地图模式
We，have to be careful because one possibility is that
可以朝这个方向发展。
one team size could end up killing the others, and we are really attached to the 5 versus 5 because it's actually very friendly for new players because they
因为
can
5v5 对新手
join
更
a
友
team.
好。
The team is quite large, and even if their individual performance is not the best, this is a safe
即便新
environment
手
for
进入
them
了
to
这种
learn the game,
5v5 对
to
局，他们的
progress,
操作
to
比较垃圾，
become better
他们的
players. So,
战线也不太容易崩溃。
the smaller the size of the team, the more pressure there is on each individual player. So the risk is that
对局人数
by
减少，每
proposing
个
a
人
game
的压力就会
focusing
大。
highly on 1 versus 1, for instance, you get a community that is extremely dedicated, but the entry fee to become a 1 versus 1 player is so high that the conversion between the number of players trying the game and the number of players going to multiplayer is extremely low. As I said before, one of our surprise at the
1v1 这
release
个
of the
模
game was
式声音大于真
how
小，
much people
而且
played the
会
multiplayer.
吓到愿意进入这个游戏的玩家
It。was the objective, like through the 5 versus 5, to have a maximum of them, but we were really surprised how efficient it was. And
5v5
so
非常的有效率，
we would like to
在这个就是
make
欢
sure
迎
the
招
5 versus
招揽
5
新
game
玩家
mode
和这
remains
个保
in
护
the
新手
game
上。
and remains the main game mode where you can easily find a match so that
5v5
new
依
players
旧
can
是他们主
integrate
推的游戏
into
模式。
into the community, into the pool of players. Otherwise, we risk to starve and no more player will be present in game after some time.
I think I'm just stopping here for just a second to address some of the things that I see in the chat that are very relevant. You know, I actually see that everyone has a very specific item that they think that is very important. Someone says more units, more U units. Some say the balance. Some say you know, new mode or new faction, and realize this. We needed to make sure that we listen to everyone and we prioritize things. So when we see you know, that there is a vocal group of people asking for something, we would definitely listen. But that doesn't mean that we don't listen to the single requests, or there's a lot of people in the team that might want, in the development team, that might want one single item that is not even showing in the chat or in the community in the Discord, that maybe is even more important for the balance of the game. One thing I wanted to ask Felix is, I think it's very important, is how much of the game, we can't go into much detail because you're not a programmer, but how much of the game had to be redone for a number of things that we've either just released or planning to release, as in structurally redone.
游戏的架构要不要重做
？After seeing all the requests from people，
就是要满足之前的那个画饼的路线图，游戏的代码层面的这个机制要不要重做，或者如果要重做的话要改多少？哎，我靠！听这帮逼说话好鸡巴费劲啊！
I need to redo all this from scratch because if I cannot add save games to
他妈说话信息密集度好低。
It's generally you don't necessarily have to scratch everything, but there is a point like it's always at a moment when you want to improve something and you don't have the good basis for that, you can try to improve the existing base, but it's less efficient than redoing from zero. So it's always a calculation, but I'm not programmer. We have programmers, lead programmers. They are experienced people, and they take these decisions to see like is what we have basically good enough, close to what we need, and so we can improve it a bit, or do we need to scratch it? And obviously we try to scratch a minimum of stuff.
说白了，走一步看一步，他们现在打算。
Because
就是发现如果改良不行了，再从头开始做。
Trying so sometimes trying to absolutely maintain what's existing actually costs you more in the end than redoing something new. So it's hard to tell. Like I cannot give you a percent or whatever. It's just that it's generally not an entire element. It's one part of. It's a sub-element that is.
哎呦，废话好多呀！救命啊！我的妈，我也不是为了干这个的呀。
And also. We cannot risk to destroy completely the rest of the game. Like it's for instance for the save games, the main problem is the state of the game in the script of the missions. So in which state is a signal and stuff like that. This was not compatible with the possibility to save some elements. So we have the choice between making a partial save sometimes, which will be compatible with some elements but not others. Like we can imagine if a tank has fired and the shell is in flight at the moment where the save is made, well, maybe in that case we'll have to forget about it because there are too many variables, too many things to be done to get all the information about this element. And in the grand scheme, the amount of shells in flight at the moment of a save, well, this is not that much. So you might lose one munition. Missiles are more important. So maybe we make this effort for missiles, but not for ballistic projectiles, stuff like that. So the two main stuff that we need to rework is the network logic to move the authority from the users to the servers. This requires a lot of rework, and the mission editor and the way the scripts are made to make it compatible with the save game. These are really the two biggest steps.
One thing we need to sort of look into right now as well, and this is sort of a recurring thing because we've seen this so many.
就你给说了5分钟废话，最后总结成几句两3句话。
Maybe Alberto, you can give a bit of insight on because you've got experience on other games as well. You know how balance is becoming important in so many.
现在开始谈论平衡。
And maybe sort of going into that topic, then maybe Felix can sort of add to it as well.
Well, the main thing about balance is that it's an extremely polarizing topic and you can't make everyone happy. In fact, anytime you change anything, you make everyone happy. So we knew that, and we knew also, from a marketing perspective, we also knew that communicating about balance is not easy. Because once again, people get unhappy, and we tried also to explain the reasoning behind the balance changes that were made, thanks to the information that Felix provided to us.
他们根据 FedEx 提供的玩家对局信息来做平衡性的这个参照和调整。
The reaction has been a bit hostile occasionally for certain players.
部分玩家在游戏更新平衡性之后，对官方表现出了相当强的敌意。
Players spend hundreds of hours into learning how to play a game, and then they get attached to a certain play style, and then they see that removed under their feet. They feel that they've been wronged, of course. But once again, we have to remember that a game's balance is never done. There will always be work to be done on balance. It will always be a work in progress thing. Most important, even more so after we start adding more specializations and more factions, more maps, and more features. This has been the case with other games, and even more so with Broken Arrow. So, yeah, once again, having the feedback from players about balance is super important. We also started looking at the feedback in a more analytical manner. We now have the tools in order to collect all the feedback from Discord and from other sources in order to really get a really good picture of what the players' perceptions are. So we think that we are now equipped with the tools in order to do a good job with the balance. But yeah, it would be much more interesting to hear Felix because he's the main man behind balance.
Yep.
所以说半天到最后也回到 FedEx， 所以 FedEx 是做平衡性的。
It's a good objective, because if your game is unbalanced, you lose players. Basically, people get tired of an unbalanced games. So we have to maintain a well-balanced game to keep the interest in the match. Because if you know that you're fighting in a battle, even before it starts, that's not good.
如果因为不平衡，玩家在开打前就知道自己会输了，会很难受。
In fact, opposed to the change because you as you said, you learn things, and then what balance does, a balance patch is a rebalance patch, is something that will change the game. The game will be different from before to after. So for all the feeling of it was better before, I don't want things to change, I don't want to redo my decks, I don't want to adapt, basically I don't want to relearn. This is a problem. Well, this will go against. This will create some negativity because what the balance patch is doing is that it's breaking the deck, it's changing your habits and stuff like that. So we know that a balance patch will not be creating a lot of positivity, but we also know that it's a necessary evil to progress towards a better balance.
总体来说是迈向更平衡的一个步骤，一个征途。
It can create initial rejection. It requires adaptation. Even in the
最开始的时候可能会有些颠簸，然后让很多人让人有些难受。
Balance. You can see that initially there is a very strong change of efficiency, and after that it tends to smooth, to become better. So well, we
最开始的时候做平衡性的补丁的这个
we will continue to work on that.
变动和效果比较高，后面会慢慢的变化。
There are many factors that makes one faction or the other not working. In any case, since the beginning of the game, things have improved. They're not perfect. So at the moment, it's the US faction that is winning more than Russia. Before it was the opposite.
美团比俄罗斯要赢得更多。
We will get to a good balance over time. And
我们会逐渐
in
把
any case,
平衡性做好。
it's not something that is done and then you don't touch it. It's
平衡性不是说不是一蹴而就，然后就可以放在那不用管的。
highly depends on how people play it, and how people play it can change without changing anything in the game itself, it can change. Like if you have a player who discover a new strategy and share it, and more people start to play this new strategy, and here we go.
如果有玩家开发了一种游戏玩法，然后分享了这种玩法，让大家发现这是一个新的这个轮椅玩法，就会开始一起去用它。那么他们就需要在这个时候介入来更改这种轮椅玩法。
The patch where we highlighted the Russian coastal forces deck, saying, okay, we'll try to make it a bit better. And
最开始的时候，俄罗斯的海军步兵专精没有太多人选。
And after that, it brought the attention on this deck. People starting to
在
play
做了少量加强后，很多人发现了海步的强大。
The infamous Tupolev 22 with its cruise missiles was spammed a lot. And this unit was not modified. It was there since the beginning of the game. It's just that people didn't try it. People preferred to play something else, and without changing it, it became the most used unit of the game for some time.
因为海步就选取率太高了，所以他们就必须要去砍它，让其他玩家也会去选其他的专辑。
It's not something dead. It's not a statue that you carve and after it's done, it's perfect, and now it will never move forever. It's a living thing that is based on how it is played and its player.
Question from Jack Daniels, which I'll need a pint of after this, and from other players as well. Any more news about modding support, and what's the current status of that?
Well, it's still we
开发
are
有没有
improving
更
that.
多的
Actually,
支持和
it
帮助？
it goes a bit unnoticed by people, but we have one tool that is very practical to make some modding. It's the Lua node. I don't know how you pronounce Lua in English. Actually, Lua node. It's a very powerful tool. We are improving it with every patch. We are improving the documentation as well to explain how it works, how to use it. So you can replace models, you can include sounds, etc. Plus, you have all the tools of the editor at the beginning that allow you to create all your scenario, include sound, include videos. Really great scenarios made by the community every week. I try to play one regularly to see what's going on, and really
基本上每周都会玩一玩玩家自定义的
the workshop to see what's going on there. Actually, we made recently a zombie mode. It was based on the idea of one of the player called joining player. He made a scenario which was about fighting hordes of zombies, but he didn't really have the tool for that. So we tried to help. We have included the 3D models for the zombie. We've made our own scenario, but now he can create a better. He improved his design.
这个中文 player 这个玩家现在可以自己去根据用这些 3D 模型的僵尸模型去做更有意思的场景。
The entry door to the modding of the game, and the main problem we have to allow people to modify everything is the problem of cheaters, because everything we do for the modding is a backdoor that will be used by cheaters to try to cheat. So we need to keep the balance between these two. It's a long work depending on the level of accessibility that you expect from modding, because some people talk about modding like, okay, code stuff in the game to change it. And some people talk about modding more like, I want a tool, I want to drag and drop an icon, and the game is modified. These are two very different level of difficulties. Like
玩家对于做模组的这个需求不一样，
having
有些人比较
tools,
喜欢
having
简单易
perfectly
懂，
designed tools for
方便
modding
搞
takes
的
more
模
time
组，
than
有些人喜
offering
欢
basic
细节
solutions. But of
更
course,
具体的
basic
这些编
solutions
程。
require
就可视化编程和这个单纯的放置物体的这个区别。
I would say put your hands in the engine a bit to see how it works. Not everything can be pre-made and already ready to go. It's going to take time.
So basically, the idea is that we're going to work on the current Lua node to improve it and make it better at the moment, and that's the sort of main thing that we're working on at the moment, right?
Right now, it's the main thing. If you want to mod the game, take a look at this, because this is really the element that will help you to do that.
Okay, I'm answering a question myself to Ubermensch, although I'll probably answer it only if he changes his nickname to Glenn Morangi. Do you guys think that the roadmap and free DLC will be enough to win back the trust, or is there more behind the scenes? I think that, so to answer the question, I think that and the fact that
SDB 觉不觉得这个路线图和免费的第一个专精 DLC 可以赢回玩家的信任
The whole team is hard at work to deliver what's on the roadmap. You might realize that on the roadmap you see a lot of things, and building all that in basically 12 months, because we're at the end of 2025 and we've got, like, this is sort of a roadmap for the first year. There's a little bit of a glimpse on 2027, but you know, this is a lot of stuff to work on. So that will win the trust back, and also you know, as we work on stuff.
Okay, 他已经预设可以赢回玩家的信任。
So what we'll do is we'll take that roadmap, and instead of delivering another roadmap in 3 months' time, we're going to use that and update it and add stuff to that roadmap as we go, so that you can see how we're ticking the green boxes.
路线图当做一个 草稿， 然后不断在上面加新东西。
you know, add more to that roadmap. So the next thing we're going to do is on December 9th, we'll have another update on Broken Arrow. This is going to happen during Slithering Next, which is our overall presentation of the games that we're working on and the future game announcements from Slithering. So this is like publishing part of this. Is not
具体内容会展现在他们的 Slithering Next 就细设的一个活动上。
We're going to focus on. Well, tell us.
Well, basically, we're going to showcase the new Specialization DLC. We're going to show a new trailer. We're going to show new screenshots. We're going to reveal some of the new Specialization. The Steam page for the DLC will go live.
Other couple of questions I'm going to ask because they are recurring, so I want to make sure that we cover these. Unranked mode, and you know, going back to the 1v1, 3v3, 5v5. Felix, ranked, unranked. Can you give us a sort of a full picture of what you guys are working on?
Well, if
do you
want an unranked mode but still with an automatic matchmaker? If there is an automatic matchmaker, how should we pick the team and put them together? So we have an unranked mode at the moment, which is using custom matches. It's totally possible to, by default, creating a custom match, put you in the same condition as a standard match. And there is no rating, because you choose who you play with, who you play against. But as soon as you expect something like with an automatic matchmaker, the automatic matchmaker needs something. Otherwise, it's like if we don't have any rating system, because the ELO system is a rating system. If there is no rating system between the teams, we put the first two teams coming together, and potentially it's a very weak team and a very strong team, and the match that you obtain is not really interesting. So there has to be a rating working anyway. So it's just like basically we would hide your ELO and not show you, and you will feel better, but the same thing would be happening in the background. It's required to have balanced teams.
To sort of complement on that, is there a plan to
就算有非排位模式，也只是把排位分隐藏起来，不做加减而已。
ranking system, the ELO ranking system.
Yeah, we'd like to, but we see this.
有没有打算去
the
搞
problem
一
is
下
that
遗漏排
it's a
位？
rating.
这个排位
The
分
objective of the rating
调
is
整调
to
整。
evaluate the performance of the players and the team to match them in an interesting match. But we see as a result a lot of players attaching, I'd say, much more attention than they should on this rating. They consider it like a reward at the end of the match, and they want to accumulate a maximum. They never want to lose the rating. That's actually pretty incompatible with the system of rating. If you lose rating, it's actually a good news for your next match because they are going to be easier and more in line with your current skill level. So we are thinking about creating a system of leagues and seasons where people progress, like we progress over time in the leagues, and at the end of the season we partially reset the value so that you can try something during a season and then maybe there is a big balance patch or a new DLC, new faction coming, and we start a new season on new basis basically. So we start working on this to replace the basic rating of ELO, which is generally perceived like people try to perceive it like same as experience at the end of the match. You see, like, oh yeah, I've won, I should get ELO. Except if you win against someone who is inferior to your rating, you shouldn't get any extra rating, because what the rating is saying is how good you perform. If you manage to beat a team that is considered a bit weaker than you, the rating system doesn't get any new information from that, and this doesn't mean that you are considered to be better by the rating. And this kind of stuff is frustrating for many players. They want a progression all the time after every match. And a rating system cannot really provide that.
So I guess that, many questions, many other topics we could face, but I guess that we are 25th of November. The next time we're going to sort of interact with you guys is going to be December 9th, and in December 9th we're gonna tell you when next time we'll be again, doing a new recap of roadmap, where we are, what we're delivering, and so on.
12月9号他们会对下一次路线图更新的时间和内容做出一些预告。预告的预告。
And I've also seen a comment on the chat earlier on. Are you going back to weekly newsletters? Well, one of the things about the weekly newsletters is that every time we posted a weekly newsletter about what we were working on, there was an influx of negativity. You forgot about this, and so it's not always that we can, cover all the different points we're working on in a weekly update. What we want to make sure that we are open enough so that you guys know what we're working on.
因为冷知识断剑周报他们承诺做断剑周报，就每周发布一些断剑的小信息。后面就做了一期，然后就不做了，成他妈断剑月报了。
That this openness works for you guys, and you are,
他们不想一直被玩家指着说你们漏了这个，你们漏了那个，你们为什么不做这个？
Some directions. We need to make sure that this happens, and to make sure that this happens, we want to really ask you, as I've seen in the chat today, thank you for being so collaborative and positive, I would say, at least the majority of you, and I hope that from now on,
就剩你俩了，
there will be
都不和
this,
你俩玩了。
you know, more collaboration between us, and
What is
ensure that
happening?
from the next live stream, again, updating and delivering more
我在转播
information,
直播，
and
没
then
事的
we'll
话
be
你可以
able to go
不要
back
发
to
声嘛。
weekly updates and make sure that we give you more insights on what the team has been
应
working
该
on.
写清楚了。
Felix, thank you for joining us. Making
pleasure.
all the way through the Alps and seeing us here. Alberto, thank you for being here. Guys, I'll see you on December 9th. I'll be
Okay.
here.
对，这个
Alberto
这个
too.
直播主要就是他妈的，
Felix won't be there.
所以说他们11月9、12月9号还要再
And,
直播
thank
一
you again
次。
for being such a great community, and hopefully we'll make
本质上
you
这次的直播是为
happier
12月
in
9号他们的
2026.
蜥蜴社叫做
Thank you, and,
Slytherin Native，
goodbye.
就什么蜥蜴社本地 whatever，就是他们的一个活动做预热的。然后结束了，直播结束，朋友们 ，It's over。